I have heard that it is. Wow, that
Hold
was
up,
so
man.
loud. Craig is loud. Turning Craig
There's
down.
actually only one way for me to do this intro. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Now, is this whatever your weird visual surprise was going to be?
Dude, Caleb didn't even finish chewing his chips before he started the episode.
That's true. He said he could. He said he was going to turn on his camera, but he needed to wait for a surprise. And I'm going to go on record and say I think the surprise is whatever he's wearing to this concert. I feel like that's a good bet.
Probably. If it is, then I've already seen it. And it's old and played out.
So true.
Yeah, I would turn on my camera too, but I'm too lazy to go buy a webcam.
That's so fair. So Caleb died.
Yeah, I guess. He went on a quest. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there we
He's
go.
still here.
Look back. I can't tell if I'm lagging or if you guys lagging.
I mean, my Discord is reading green for me, so I think it's you.
It could be. Dude, there's been people like installing the apartment complex is like installing internet. So there's been people in and out of my apartment the last 3 days, just like drilling holes in the wall and ceiling.
Wow.
Yeah. When you said that, I just imagined getting in, like not even knocking, just like opening up door, walking in, not even giving you guys a second glance, drilling a giant hole in your wall, just like one drill hole, and then just walking out, not saying a word the entire time. But yeah, welcome back to Subtractive IQ. Caleb's your host. I'm your co-host.
Oh, we're back. We're so back.
Yeah.
No, it's right. What?
Oh, and he's gone.
Swing and a miss.
Oh man, did it clear? Dude, it cleared my status, dude. That sucks. I'll need to retype stuff.
Oh, I made my status watching Caleb buffer the very first time he cut out. And it is still my status.
Yeah, extremely topical.
Oh. I think
wow, he's like really gone. Oh.
Maybe we should not speak. Maybe we don't speak ill of the men drilling holes in his wall to fix the internet.
Yeah, I guess.
they're cursing us now.
I guess.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there we go. Welcome back.
Welcome to Subtractive IQ.
I already said that. You're late.
You didn't. No, you didn't. Shush.
I did.
I'm the host.
No, I did.
I own the show. Shut up.
You don't own the show.
Subtractive IQ.
I own.
I'm your host, Caleb, aka Clancy, and today we're going to be breaking down my album Breach. It is on.
It's not showing your camera. No.
Yeah, it says failed to start camera on our end.
Well, restart it.
Oh, there it is.
Dude, this was the slowest burn reveal of all time, by the way.
I mean,
Miriam cameo.
I'd like to go on record again and say that I already went on record and said this was what the surprise was going to be while you were on.
So your record.
And Elisha's already seen it, and he said it's old hat. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
You said it's what?
Old hat?
Yeah,
I don't think that's how he said it.
Have his costume for the show.
No, I said it's old and played out is what I said.
Right. That is what he said.
You showed me it last night.
Yeah, but that's different. We weren't on air. This is all fresh for our quintillion viewers.
Oh yeah, here let me pull my YouTuber reaction. Oh my goodness, that's the greatest thing. All right, let me just preface. This is a mess. Let me tell. Look, all right. So
yeah,
last episode,
I'm wearing it Friday. Now I got to take my headphones off first. I can take it off.
Okay. Well, Caleb's away.
He looks like the black phone killer right now.
We're back. We're so back.
Very good.
All right. So last episode, this is a follow-up. So Caleb picked the weapon that I would use in Bloodborne to finish the game. And so I'm doing like one run through and I'm going to do like a new game plus with that weapon only. And man, I am so rusty and it is so rough. Anyway, that's the follow-up.
All right, thank you. Follow-up to the follow-up.
Uh-oh.
Elisha, when you get here Friday,
I'm
we're
gonna get
going
there
to the mall.
I'm making waffles.
We're going, oh yeah, right. On Friday, we're going to the mall from 11 to 2. At least, because I'm working.
11 to 2? Dog.
And there's a Lego store there, and I
Okay,
figured
fine.
maybe they have the Death Star and you can just buy it.
I highly doubt that, but I will
Chat's
keep
been up on why you have
$1,000
to buy
open.
the Lego Death Star.
Okay, so so Caleb and my brother are very mean, and I asked them to pick out a Lego set for me to buy next off lego.com, and they picked like literally the most expensive set on the entire site. And so now I have
End quote, I have too much money, so pick which Lego set I'm going to buy next.
Yeah, I was expecting something that was like
was almost
expensive.
the
Don't
shoes.
get me wrong.
Let me show you what it almost was, Ben.
I would not have bought the shoes. I would have pulled a veto. At least the Death Star is at least a little interesting. Is Caleb
I feel like
dead? His camera's frozen.
he froze again. Yeah. At first, I thought he was being very still, but Miriam is also frozen in the background.
The links are in the Discord chat if you scroll up a little bit.
Let's play a game called Caleb Stays Connected. Here they are. There it is.
Hey, there we go. Welcome back.
Thank you. This is already off to a phenomenal start. I just want to say, as the host.
Oh, that's nice, actually. I like this. It's the Nike Air Max Lego. That's sick.
Yeah, it was almost it. But then he was like, so we got
I said pick out a set. That's not a set. That's a pair of shoes.
Sure.
I'm tired of hearing excuses. I want to see results. It's past
you know what?
You don't have the set yet.
Dude, the set's on back order. Of course, it went on back order like the day it released. Of course, I don't have the set yet.
I also would like to say I thought this was a shoe made of Legos at first, but I now see that this is just a shoe themed after Lego. Not as cool, to be honest.
They do have Lego shoes though, like Lego shoe sets.
Dude, speaking of Lego shoes. Just kidding. We're not talking about Lego shoes. Ben Mariano, everybody. Hi, Ben.
Hey, I'm doing well. We are deep in a CMC semester, like you experienced in spring, and we are 2 weeks away from tour prep, which was my favorite time with your cohort. So,
dude, tour prep was my favorite time, and also the time that it was pedal to the metal. Like I died.
You learned your physical limits during tour prep.
I learned I exceeded.
Yes.
I set new limits.
Dude, it was crazy because when Caleb was doing CMC, because he was like, at the start of the semester, he was like, I'm probably going to be busy. We're probably not going to get to hang out much. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm in school. You're in school. Like, nothing too different. And then we were on like every single night. And then he's like, I don't know. I just have a lot more time than I thought I would. And then tour prep hit. Literally did not hear from him the entire tour prep, except when I texted him. Like I'd text him like once every 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, I'm dying.
Yeah. I think this is
because it was I had like time. If I managed my time well, which I did during CMC.
You did.
I had plenty of time to do everything I need to do and to still have time to play games with my friends. Not a problem. And then when tour prep started, it was like, okay, cool. Here's 2 weeks. And as Ableton engineer and as assistant producer, I'm going to be in the building from 9 a.m. until a window of 1 to 5 a.m. every single.
Yes. Yes.
Every single night. And
This
then
is- I
4-wall
think-
hit it, and I like broke.
Yes, you
Like
did.
day 3 of 4-wall, like I went outside and called Miriam and cried.
Yeah. I think this one we're about to do is my 7th tour build. And at this point, everyone in my life outside of CMC, I think there's like a mutual understanding of like, and on what day will you be disappearing into the black hole and then reemerging at Thanksgiving? Like it's just kind of a given now, which I appreciate because then I can just focus in on going crazy with you bozos in the building.
No, tour prep was definitely my favorite part though of the semester.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's Princess. All right. So you got a hot take? I mean, we'll get to the episode eventually. Really, it's not that late for us.
What qualifies a hot? Just any hot take?
Your hottest take, bro.
Oh man, I wish I had prepared for this.
I'll say while you're thinking.
Yeah,
Elisha, the hot take for our guest on Saturday is going to be the hottest take you've ever heard.
Okay. And it better not be something stupid like toast is burnt bread.
What's that?
Okay, good. Because that's not a hot take. That's
going
factually wrong.
We're not gonna entertain that on this show. Give it press. No more.
Gosh.
Yeah.
This is rough because I know there is one. I mean, Caleb, you know, I'm probably like one of the most opinionated people on planet Earth. Hence why I'm here. Oh man. Hottest take. See, I'm trying to make sure it's not like a 21 Pilots take because obviously that's where we're going in general. So I don't want to do that.
It could be a 21 Pilots take for the 21 Pilots.
I mean, it could.
Our 3rd episode. We have to keep doing 21 Pilots episodes because it's the only concept people listen to. Hold on, let me pull up the numbers.
I will say, I was talking to Rick today, who's the business track director, and I mentioned I was doing this, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to listen to that one."
You telling me he wasn't listening to every other episode?
I guess not. He is. I know he does keep up with TOP.
How many fans do we have, Alexa?
Heck if I know.
All right, I just keep track. I lose track. You're supposed to. You don't know?
I think we were somewhere around like 1.17 quintillion last time I checked.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's a surefire way for me to find my hot take. I'm going to search my messages on iMessage for the phrase hot take because I'm sure I hit some people up with some.
Sure. Dude, that's where the money's at.
Yeah, that is where the money's at. Sure.
Yeah. So just in case you're wondering, the most.
Oh shoot! I don't stand by that though. I just found a text from 2022. Hot take: new 1975 album is mid. I think I came around on that one though.
All the episodes we've had, the most plays we have on an episode that's not 21 Pilots related is 46 plays.
That's pretty good.
Not including the first one. Which
now, what do we know? What constitutes a play? Like, how much of it do they have to listen to for it to be a play? Because if that's like a full play, that's actually really good. Like 46 people sat through the whole thing.
Not.
Is it like this normally?
I can see the
it's
analytics.
Not too far off some episodes. It's kind of weird.
Our median consumption time was 33 minutes on that episode.
That sounds about right. That's if I wasn't like invested in I think the list format for the last 21 Pilots one was a good one to listen to because like if there wasn't like clearly a number of songs left, I probably would have tuned out around 40 minutes in, but because I was like invested in where the list was going, I listened to the whole thing.
But the 21 Pilots, so 46. That's on episode number 2. Our 21 Pilots lore episode. Granted, this was just around the time Barish got announced, so everybody wanted to pick the lore up.
Yeah,
this episode's 323 points.
It's like 300% improvement. More than that.
Dang.
It has 64 consumption hours, 210 streams and downloads. But the median consumption time is also only 1 minute and 18 seconds. So, I don't know.
Yikes.
But then we just did the tier list, which has 42 plays, so it's already almost up there. Has 28 consumption hours and a 1 hour and 41 minute retention time, which is actually only like 9 minutes short of the whole episode, so that's crazy.
Dang. How and that was just us yapping at the end.
It's probably just, I mean, it's probably because we just have to start getting actual like structure to our show. But not right now. I don't care enough right now.
Yeah. This episode is crazy to say we need structure.
Not right now. I don't even know where I'm going to put the intro music yet, dude.
Right now.
Okay.
Just have it be a 16-minute cold open.
That's it. I mean, that's what episodes of TV do. They'll like shove the intro right at the end and just like roll the credits. So that's an end card, actually. Not a title. All right. Well,
just
Ben,
double the length of the intro music.
We're 30 minutes in and we haven't touched the episode topic yet. So that's how you know it's going to be a good night. But also, Aisha you don't work tomorrow, right? So we can stay up as late as we want. I work tomorrow. I work 11 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. But that's besides the point.
That's fine.
All right, Ben,
That's
I'm waiting
time to sleep.
for this hot take.
I feel like my hot take's going to come. I feel like we're going to be talking about 21 Pilots, and then it's going to come to me.
All right,
and I'll just have to share it then. I think that's where we're at. Yeah,
right.
We'll defer the hot take.
Today, we are going to be doing an album analysis.
All right. Great.
Sick. For those listening at home, we lost Caleb.
Once again.
That was impeccable timing. I was
Here,
like, he's really building up to what the album's going to
be. I was like, all right, let's pay attention. We're doing an album analysis of Bleach. Like what a playlist on Billboard, right?
Okay, I think you should start that whole sentence over because it definitely cut you off like 3 times.
21 Pilots Breach album analysis. Didn't it go #1?
It did.
Yeah, which is crazy because I saw this video that was like, has anyone even mentioned 21 Pilots to you in the last 7 years? No, doesn't matter. They sold however many units of Breach, put it at #1, and also set the record for.
Oh, we'll never know.
What did it set the record for? What do you think he's gonna say? Like, what do you think the record is? Like, if you just had a guess.
Probably for like day 1 streams.
Oh, okay. You took it like seriously. I was hoping you'd just give me some sort of bullcrap answer.
It set the record for most albums with the lead singer Tyler Joseph.
It probably did, honestly.
#1 album with the lead singer being named Tyler Joseph.
Yes,
dude, they're smashing records. Hello.
So what, Caleb? What was the record? It cut you off right when you're about to say what the record is, and if your frame is to be believed, you just got cut off again as I asked you this question. There it is. Okay.
All right, what was the record, Caleb?
What was the record? We're dying to know.
Oh, and then it cut off.
It cut off again, Caleb. This is.
Oh my goodness.
Have you considered switching to dial-up?
Dude, Caleb, turn off your camera, please.
I did the bit. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, you don't need your camera. Save the bandwidth. Also, forbid your wife from using the internet for the next little bit.
All right, what was the record, Caleb? Please tell us. I'm dying to know.
See, now I can't even tell if he's gone or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll Google it. Let's see if we can find what record did Breach 21 Pilots break. Biggest rock album debut on the Billboard 200 since 2019.
Oh, nice.
Which was the Tool album, which I think that was like Tool's first in like a decade or something stupid.
Please.
Hey, welcome.
Dude,
We just went ahead and
touch the
Googled the
dial-up
record.
So was it the biggest rock album debut on the Billboard 200 since 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Well, anyway,
Lucky guess.
Yeah. I'm on Genius. Just I have the album pulled up.
I am also on Genius looking
I
at Breach.
wanna-
That's crazy.
I want to say it's funny. When I pulled up this website earlier, I looked over to the side and it had a little pop-up ad that was like,
Uh-huh.
breaking down the lyrics and meaning of "Pull Your Skirt Down," and I was like, cool. Yeah, I need for sure need a song in that one says to figure out what that tune is about.
Heck yeah.
All right. Let me make a disclaimer real quick.
For sure.
These two know music. I know pretty much nothing about music.
That's why your opinion matters, though.
No, it's
So
totally
much.
fair. You need
Yeah, I'm
need
like
that
the
voice.
control sample. Yeah.
It's good.
You
Actually,
you guys
I'm curious.
will be like, this song's a bad song because of all these reasons, and I'll be like, but it slaps though.
That's totally fair though, because it's like, it doesn't really matter as long as you are a potential customer for the 21 Pilots Corporation, and like you don't need to know music to be a customer for the 21 Pilots Corporation.
And most of the time when I break down music, I'm not like, this chord leads into this chord in a predictable way, and therefore.
Okay,
Bro,
you will catch me doing that probably
Right,
to a
that's fine.
couple lyrics, I would say. Probably not music.
I'd say, I mean, it probably we got a full like spectrum then, because you got Elijah here with no music knowledge, and me with some music knowledge, but kind of more leaning towards him, and then just a geek. So
it's fair. So I'm curious before we like really go down Breach territory. And perhaps I should have done my research and listened back to like the lore episode or something. But like, I think I know the answer already. But like, really quickly, so like Elisha's newer to listening to 21 Pilots, and you've been listening since like what, 10 years or something?
Yeah, let me put it this way: every year the Spotify Wraps comes out, and I'm in 21 Pilots top 0.5%.
Sure, but like, how long have you been like in it?
Since 2018. I think,
okay, so like Trench-ish.
Yeah. Trench was the album that was out.
And Elisha, you just started listening. Was it this year? You said.
It was in December of last year. So, but yeah, pretty much at the start of this year.
But you'd heard some stuff prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've
like
been hearing 21 Pilots since Vessel came out, but I haven't like actually been listening to them. It's just been like, oh, this song is playing, or like I'm in the car with my brothers and they're playing songs from it.
Right. Okay, so since we have time, I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. But here's my background, because it's a little bit more extensive. 21 Pilots is the first thing that I was shown in college. So I got to my freshman year in fall of 2013. So Vessel at this point has been out a few months. I move in with this roommate who, they do the classic freshman thing where they just pair you with someone. And they paired me with this kid from my hometown. We were in Ohio. I grew up in New York. So it's like kind of weird that there's even like another person from my hometown at this school. It's kind of random. And we get there the first day, and I swear, like, probably like the third thing he ever said to me was like, have you heard of this 21 Pilots band? And he had just seen them live. And it was just like it's like he had just been converted to a religion, basically.
That's kind
of like he was just so on. It's like you just got home from youth camp and you're just like, I just can't stop talking about Jesus. It was that, but for 21 Pilots. And so he like immediately was like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I remember probably like the second thing he showed me was there's a video of them in it's like the Warner Room or something. They're live in the studio, and it's just Tyler and Josh, and they're doing Addict with a Pen, and it's just keys, drums, vocal. And I was just like blown away. And from there was like, okay, he's always listening to like Vessel and Regional at Best in our room and all this stuff, and got really into the Vessel songs. And then by probably like the second month of college, it was like Vessel was just kind of on repeat across like everywhere I was going. So like other people I was meeting, either they had just been introduced to it or I introduced it to them. We were driving around doing car radio on the way to class all the time. Like it was like a thing. And really it was like such a strange, I don't even really know how to like communicate this perspective, but like I grew up with like a lot of the like guitar rock MTV, like Fall Out Boy, that scene of like rock band early 2000s, and like they were like lumped in with that a little bit because Fueled by Ramen, but it was obviously something so different and like very synth. Like he was building these songs in Logic, obviously, and like I was in my first year of music production where we're building things in Logic. So there's like all this like weird like crossover stuff, and I'm in Ohio, which like we're less than an hour from Columbus, so they're kind of hometown heroes a little bit. And it was just a very interesting energy where it felt like in all reality, we're not on the cutting edge of something, but it was small enough that it felt like it was like this super underground thing.
Yeah.
But I can't like claim like, oh, I saw them like in a basement, because like I didn't. That would have been like a year before that. But basically they were just like the first new fresh thing that I was exposed to as a college student. And then we saw them that spring at Jacob's Pavilion, which was like an outdoor amphitheater. It was the Quiet is Violent tour. And that show was just like exactly what everyone always says at their first 21 Pilot show. It was just like, what just happened? That was like such an experience. And like they had such command of the crowd. And the production value wasn't that high. I mean, it was reasonably high, and they were obviously working their thing so well, but it wasn't like the props and stuff like it is now. But walked out of that show just like, they did the trees thing, and like there was a ton of video of that out there. It's like we didn't know that was what it was going to be like, other than like the Newport video that kind of blew them up. And so it was just like, again, a religious experience. We're just like, oh, so I'm in this cult now. This is crazy. And then fast forward to the second time I saw them, for like one of the first nights of the Blurry Face tour at like the Shot, which is like the Ohio State like basketball court. And I look around and we're like surrounded by 8-year-olds, because like Stressed Out happened in the weeks leading up to that. And it was just like an immediate change. And it was like jarring as like a sophomore in college to be like this cool thing that felt really like local and like kind of underground, but kind of not. And it's kind of blowing up and we're all about it. And then all of a sudden it was like mainstream overnight. And it was like, this changed. This got different really fast. And I think that bleeds into all my opinions on 21 Pilots since, because Blurry Face was like a really confusing rollout for me personally. I actually wrote down a couple Blurry Face takes based off of where you guys ranked things in the last episode. So here's my hot takes, probably. Okay. Let's see. What did I say? Things to say on the pod. Here we go. Okay. So first of all, Fairly Local. You guys like dogged Fairly Local.
Fairly Local's just not great.
Dude, it was the first thing to drop post Vessel. And when it dropped, I cannot explain to you how that song ripped through our campus. Like, we were all about that song. And again, I think there's an aspect there where like we felt like it was about us, because it's like he's not really singing about Ohio, but there's a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
The idea of him being local to the streets or whatever, like we were all about it. And it was like, imagine having only heard Vessel and Before. It's so dark compared to those, and like gritty and kind of just like suddenly like menacing. I think we were just all so stoked on where this thing was about to go.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a really interesting point. Like, because for me, like Blurry Face and Trench having already had come out, I never even thought about before. Like, going from Vessel to Blurry Face is like jump. That's great. That's just wow. Yeah, I never thought about it that way before.
Because there was a good, I want to say it was weeks where it was Vessel and Fairly Local, and that's what you had. and we were like, this new stuff's crazy. This stuff's about to go ham. And then I think the second thing out was Stressed Out. And we definitely, I think everyone loved Stressed Out right away. Again, they're playing into something that went really, it scaled globally for sure and was relatable to a lot of people. But to us, we're like, oh my gosh, they're on the streets. They're in the streets in Columbus. That's right there. So it felt, again, like we're being targeted as like this like mid-Ohio fan base. But also a little bit more peppy and upbeat. So like it wasn't, like I think Fairly Local implied to us that it was going to go in this really dark, heavy direction. And then it was like, oh no, I guess some of it's going to be peppy and upbeat anyways. And then it was, I guess at this point, I'm just walking through the Blurry Face rollout because I remember it so well. I think Tear in My Heart was maybe third. And that was confusing at first. So awesome. That is an awesome song. I do think it was the harder single to go down at the time when it was like the third thing. It was kind of like, oh, this one's weird. And then by like a few days in, you're like, oh, this is just such a good song. And then the record came out, and I don't know how deep you are in like the YouTube lore, Caleb, but Heavy Dirty Soul was a real shock because we had heard pieces of that prior in I think it was like a street poetry video that he did for like alternative press or something.
I've seen that, yeah.
And he's just reciting what became the first verse of Heavy Dirty Soul. But at the time there was no knowing that. It was just like a video called like Street Poetry with 21 Pilots, Tyler Joseph. And it was him kind of like spitting off that verse and then he ends it with, death inspires me like a dog inspires a rabbit. We were like, that's so deep. So then that song being the opener was like, oh my gosh, it's the thing. We know this thing because we're obsessed. And then the other thing we're obsessed with was the Goner video, which is him doing it on like an accordion in the middle of the street.
Dude, that video is sick.
So that being the end of the record and the beginning of the record was like, oh my gosh, like he had kind of teased out some of this material over the year that Vessel was being toured. And I just remember like listening to Blurry Face for the first time and just feeling like the back half was really mid.
Really?
But to me, it was like front loaded with some really cool stuff. And the back half really lost me.
I kind of feel that too. But that might just be because like the titans of the album are like all at the front, like the first 3 or 4 songs.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with that very much. You got Polarize and Message Man in the second half.
I really like the second half of the album, but I feel like a lot of the hype is front loaded.
Yeah,
that's true.
I will say, so for me, the breakdown is love Heavy Dirty Soul. He does hit strike one though of what I would call like the trifecta of like, oof, why'd you say that in this album, which starts with this is not rap, this is not hip hop, which is on its own is not bad, but it's when you combine that with the like I wasn't raised in the hood, like you start to just like get these little tickers against like, okay, this is a very like kind of white boy from the suburbs thing to say. Which over time, I think I remember clocking the first time I heard like Ride and Lane Boy being like, there's some lines in here that are a little like, they just are a little cringy to me. Knowing a lot of people that would say stuff like that. And usually it would be the type of person who's not as like deep and introspective as Tyler Joseph seems to be. So I was always kind of on those songs in particular, even though I know those songs are obviously big and Ride's huge and all that stuff. And then at the end of the record, like really post Doubt, I'm like Hometown and Goner and everything else I could do without.
Wow, that is a hot take.
All right.
I mean, here's my 21 Pilots hot take. I think We Don't Believe It, What's on TV is like one of their worst songs.
What? Dude, I love that song so much.
I could get there. I'm not super.
There's probably. I think there's
on that song.
I will say they're a band where I think there are probably explanations to certain things where if I got the full story of why certain things are said the way they're said, I'd be like, oh, now I get it. But as it stands, that's just, I mean,
We'll
that's
make money selling your hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
anyway.
And there was a lot of debate when that came out about like, is that Josh's hair? Is it Jenna's hair? Like, it was like, why are we talking about this? I don't understand what's happening.
But we all know it's hair to pass forensic drug tests so that you can do cocaine and still pass a drug test.
That's an interesting that's an interesting foreshadowing to where I might go with some of my takes on this.
All right. Breach. Album analysis.
Okay. All that to say, going to that first post Blurryface release show, it felt like a shift where it was like, this is not just our thing anymore. And I carried that with me for a bit. And it made it hard to enjoy it as much because that's where you had like the Reddit click got really big and loud and somewhat fangirly. And then I kind of got reignited into it with Trench because Trench came out and it was like surprisingly like way more solid to me right off the bat. And then I went to the tour and it was like, whoa, this has gotten so big and cool. And they're like, I'm not an arena guy. I usually hate arena shows because it's just like it feels so disconnected as like an audience member, especially one that can't afford to be like right up front. And they did such a good job of like working that space that I was just like, okay, I'm sold on these guys like long term. And I was always a big Mute Math guy. So when he brought in Paul Meany to like kind of push things in a certain direction sonically with a lot of the cool like synths and crazy funky stuff that kind of enters around Trench, like that really got me back in. And so I've been fully in since then. I just keep my distance from the fans when I need a little break from some of the craziness. That was my short version.
I really hope that Discord records everything you guys say when I cut out, because I'm not gonna lie, there was like 4 times I was like, I'm just not gonna interrupt. But I cannot hear him talking.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's because it says that like we join the recording.
Right.
So it should just record the voice chat. So if Discord cuts out or like we lag, it'll lag, but I don't think if you lag, it'll lag. But then again, this entire episode might be a bust.
Yeah, that feels right.
Let me ask: do we want to go? Do we want to? Yeah, we will. Never mind.
Okay.
Did we lose you?
With an analysis? I don't think you guys can hear. Oh, you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Now we
there
can.
We go.
Okay, cool.
We got you back on the word analysis.
City Walls, how do you guys want to start this? Like, how do you want to view walking through this analysis?
Well, I think before you jump into the songs, I'm curious, what are you guys thinking about like the record as a whole? In terms of like, I think there's some interesting like overall themes that the individual songs probably will speak to as we talk about them, but like,
I think there's a hill that I'll die on, which is that this is one of, if not their most spiritual album.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, barring maybe like self-titled.
Sure. I think there's like, I don't know how much of, maybe you've seen some of the same stuff I have, Caleb, but I've watched some takes
There we go. Hello?
From people where there's like maybe a meta narrative happening here about Tyler and his kind of like arc of wanting to make meaningful music to a specific purpose that feels like he's like re-exploring in this record.
I would agree with that.
Like, I think there's songs throughout the whole discography where you're like, is he actually just talking about like why he wants to make music and like make an impact based on what he believes spiritually? But this album feels like more specifically like he's talking about that maybe the whole time.
I would agree. And I don't know if you heard what I said before I cut off, but I was saying I feel like Breach is definitely like like one of their most spiritual albums ever,
Yeah.
especially in the sense of um as the album as a whole, I feel like is almost a diary of Tyler gaining fame
Yes.
and
I would agree
creating
with that.
music and falling away from faith and then coming back to faith. And I feel like
Yes.
and wrestling with why do I want to make music? And I feel like this album like narrates that whole
Yeah.
journey.
And I think it's affirming for me to hear that because I read that pretty quickly, but that's
Mhm.
also been my journey over the last few years. Like for me, I like deconstructed my faith between probably like 2018, 2020, and then have been kind of reconstructing it since then. And like
Mhm.
even in the past couple of years, it's been like getting back into like the church world that I was kind of burned by for a while. And so like that's been my lens anyways. And so when I
Yep.
heard the record, I was like picking up on all these things and I'm like, maybe that's just my personal interpretation. But I've heard a few people now outside of me, just like on the internet, saying things like that. And now hearing you say it, I'm like, oh, I actually think this is legitimately in the text if you look at it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Well,
And
it's interesting to think of it
especially
as
songs
like
Downstairs.
well, yeah, downstairs is kind of undeniably right there.
Yeah.
But I think like even if you look at Reddit, I think the general fan base is like that's the one song where he goes there. And then there's a few other people that are like, I don't know, it feels like it's maybe kind of interwoven through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it's interesting to look at it. I haven't thought too hard about this, but it has dawned on me like this is really essentially part 2 of Clancy. And I wasn't necessarily picking up on that theme as strongly on Clancy, but I think as a companion to it, you could almost see like Clancy as being a deep explanation of where he's been in the cycle of his struggles. And then this is like the spiritual component of that. And putting them together is kind of one complete story.
yeah.
Obviously not meaning like the lore story. I'm talking purely on the subtext of like
Yeah.
what Tyler is expressing about his actual life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And yeah, I feel so moving into the more individual songs.
Yeah.
Do you think I 100% of that?
We lost you after 100%.
I 100% think
We once again have lost you after the phrase 100%.
Okay.
dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
One more
you
time.
said you
Just like
100% think.
hello?
Yeah,
Hey,
go
you
ahead.
100% think.
Oh, and we lost you.
Jeez.
Okay. All right, one more time. You 100% think what?
That
We're just going one word at a time.
The devil's working overtime on the Discord server right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
he
feel
gone.
like wow, he's like actually gone. I feel like I mean, it might be said there. I mean, there are definitely songs about Tyler's faith in every album.
Mhm.
Like at least one
hello?
that you can kind of pick out. Hey, what's up?
I 100% think City Walls fits in with the overall narrative of the entire album and not just it being the end of the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think some of the stuff to me reads like I don't know. Is the way around the city walls the way on through? Is he talking about like navigating the music industry?
Mm.
I think it's very possible. Like I think he talked a lot about in interviews in the early days, how he wanted to like kind of do things differently and like he's trying to like go about this like artistic expression in a way that's kind of countercultural and like very informed by his faith and all this stuff. And to some degree, it reads to me like, are the city walls like the actual like going into the belly of the beast and being successful and like having a platform, but then like realizing you're like, oh, I didn't actually like make the impact I thought I wanted to in the way I wanted to, or I got lost along the way, or I got distracted, or whatever it is. I feel like when I look at the lyrics through that lens, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And going back to my thought here for a sec, I feel like because there's definitely like at least one song you can pick out in every album besides
Mhm.
maybe Scaled and Icy, that's like pretty explicitly about his faith. But I feel
Mhm.
like we might get a little more sense here. I mean, obviously, I think that songs are more, like as a whole, inspired by his faith. Um,
Mhm.
but it might also be that they're like these songs aren't really covered by, um, like the story aspect of it. Um,
Meaning like they're
so
not like as obscured by having to like move the narrative of the
yeah,
lore along, kind of.
yeah, like kind of needing to filter it through the lens of the story as well as the lens of the song.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
just
sense.
another layer of kind of disconnect between the actual writing and the listening.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, like, and that's weird because like when Clancy dropped, my initial like surprise with it, based on how it was kind of marketed, I felt like it was a lot more personal in general than
Mhm.
what they were kind of saying it was going to be. Like it felt like they were like, this is like the end of the lore, and that's the main thing. And like we got some of that, especially with the visuals.
Yeah.
But listening to the album, I'm like, oh, I feel like I get the sense, and I could be totally reading into this, that Tyler's a kind of done with that being the main point. Like he wants to like express outside of having to like follow around the torchbearer character and the Clancy character. And so
Yeah.
like in Clancy, it's almost like he's trying to like equate the two in a way where he's like, well, I'm Clancy. And so like, here's an album about what I'm going through. Cause I kind of miss just this being about me expressing what I'm going through. And then this record feels like also a little bit like that, where it's like almost making the best of both situations where he's like, okay, well, I can like use the city walls metaphor to like tie it in, and I can do this video to kind of like demonstrate that the story is a cycle and like kind of put a bow on it where we're not expected to keep adding chapters to this meta narrative. But at the same time, I'm also like going deep on just what I'm going through. And so maybe like Clancy, to your point, is like the halfway point of doing that, where you're like, oh, it's kind of lore, but it's also kind of not. And then this one is like, okay, the lore's over. So you don't need to think about that as much. Now I can just like be honest.
Yeah. I feel like as a creator, it
Mm-hmm.
would kind of wear you down, especially something like when you're creating songs like as personal as 21 Pilots, because I mean like some of their songs are like a really deep cut. Um but like it kind of would probably, I mean, I don't know how Tyler feels about this, but like it would probably wear me down personally if like I put out something and I'm like, this is a really meaningful song to me in this way, and then you put it out and people scrutinize it like, oh, what's the story significance of this, like,
Right.
how does this fit into the lore? And it's like it doesn't, it's just something that I wanted to say.
For sure. Yeah. And it's like, I having been in like the seat of like creating myself, and then also like I produce a lot, so like I'm working with people that are creating something and trying to like coax the best version of that out of them. There is often this
Mm.
tension of like, you're kind of trying to serve two masters all the time, right? Because you're trying to make something for other people, but you're also trying to express something yourself. And then sometimes you get that third level where there's something like this, where it's like, oh, there's also this like story of the community, and like they're all invested in this world that he built. So seeing this as like, it doesn't have to be any one of those things. He's creative enough of a dude and has been around this block enough that he can kind of operate on all three at the same time. And that's part of what makes him like so brilliant. That's an exciting thing to go through, even as a creator, to be like, oh, I like found the way to say this thing that does tell this fun story, but also like is an honest expression of where I'm at, and also pleases the fans and also connects with them emotionally. Like when you can fire on all of that, it's not easy to do, but Tyler strikes me as someone who would be excited by like the idea of City Walls, even specifically being like, yeah, and the video will wrap up the story and the lyrics will tell this thing about like my journey as a creator, and like it'll sonically bridge Paladin Straight to this new batch of songs. Like that strikes me as something that he would be really into, is like, oh, I can like kind of make it serve all of these different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome back, Caleb.
Thank you. I basically shut everything else down on my computer that was running, because I'm not kidding you. I missed probably 75% of the last 10 minutes of conversation. But everything seems to be in the green now.
Yeah,
so.
the short version is City Walls is dope, and we think that Tyler's doing a lot to try to like wrap up the lore, but also seems like he's also trying to like find a way to bridge back into an era of just like expressing truth, and kind of serve both masters with this one last record. And maybe he was already kind of trying to do that with Clancy, but he had to do it again with Breach, because people wanted it.
Yeah. I want to echo something I did hear Elisha say, which is like how frustrating it would be to it, like it probably is, to like people being like, you know, anything after City Walls, which is Tyler's very clear is it. That's the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then like even having things like Drag Path, and people like trying to relate that to the story after, like that's outside of like what he literally said was the end, is frustrating for me, because it's like, okay, you're just trying not to have to come to terms with the fact that he is writing a song about God and you don't like it.
Sure.
Well, and it might also be like, I mean, this has been like a 10-year story. So maybe they just don't want the story to be over. Because for a lot of people, like the story is 21 Pilots. Like, because they didn't, you know, experience before the story. So it's just been like, you know, the storyline and then all that other stuff that they did before.
Yeah. Well, I find it interesting, like even in, so like we all know, or I guess I'm assuming we all know, you know, it's commonly out there that these concepts and like the character of Blurryface, like that all is obviously the genesis of that being put out there is sort of in the Blurryface era, but really kind of comes clear in Trench. And in Trench, he puts the line that gets reused later, that I created this world to feel some control, destroy it if I want. Like he puts that term on the line right away in that first project, where we're giving Nico a name, and we're doing, you know, he's really like using that lore as a tool, probably to get unstuck from like, how do I follow up Blurryface? Like everyone always talks about the sophomore slump, but for them, really, like their sophomore album was the breakthrough. So it's like kind of, I feel like their sophomore slump is following up Blurryface. That's the real challenge. Or not slump, not that it was a slump, but like that's probably where that pressure was honestly more. How do I follow this up?
You know, how do you follow up an album that blew up in the way that Blurryface did?
Right. And so in my mind, like he creates this lore for Trench, probably not thinking too hard about like how long that'll go on. He's probably just like, oh, this is like a springboard that's getting me excited about this new batch of songs. And clearly he's going through like writer's block because like it takes him 2 years to do it. He writes Pet Cheetah, which is a song about I literally have writer's block, and this song's about me having writer's block and needing to just commit to this crappy beat I made.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what Pet Cheetah is. He says it in Pet Cheetah. So clearly he's like trying to find like gas for his creative fire, and then he does it and it does well, and everyone is kind of like, wow, this was like an accomplishment, and even people who weren't so hot on Blurry Face are hot on it suddenly. Like I feel like that put them on a trajectory to have to keep doing the lore thing, and I'm not saying that he was like begrudgingly doing that from then on, but I think that became an expectation that I just really doubt that he was like, and this is going to be a 10-year thing, and we're going to keep creating within this story for a long time. Like I doubt that was like the day one plan.
Yeah.
And he's not going to fight it because like he's always been for what the fans create community around. And they latched on to all these things he created. And so, of course, you want to play into that and you want to like have fun with that. And I found it really satisfying in kind of that Trench to Scaled and Icy era. As it was rolling out, it became very obvious that Tyler was spending time on the internet reading what people's theories were and like working them into the material. Like he was like really investing in that relationship that he's always claimed, which is that, you know, we are 21 Pilots and so are you. But I think over time it is like, it just feels really obvious to me from the outside as someone who's made stuff. Like this guy probably gets tired of being in that box.
Yeah. Oh,
pretty
100%.
often. Even Scaled and Icy, like, you know, in the end, it gets kind of like packaged into this, like it's propaganda within the story, but that's really just an excuse for me to do songs in the story that don't really feel relevant to the story. Like there's like a lot of like, I don't think it's him being lazy though. Like with a lot of other artists, I would be like, well, they're just doing the cheap move, but he's like so above all else committed to practicing what he's always preached about his relationship with the fan base.
Yeah.
At his own detriment, even if he's like torturing himself to do it sometimes. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. I agree.
Raw fear moves him. Segue.
Dude, can we talk about Sounds of Empty Uzis as a line?
That is, I will say, Caleb, that is like the main reason this is my least favorite song on the album.
Raw Fear's your least favorite?
About Breach. Raw Fear is my least favorite song on this record.
That's crazy.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the Uzis.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't vibe with that opinion.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's my second least favorite.
What's your least favorite?
Never. We'll get there. I'll reveal it when we get to it.
Eventually.
I will say
recording.
I don't
an hour.
An hour and 14. You need to cut like 45 of this, Caleb.
Oh, I know.
You absolutely need to. Let me finish my Raw Fear take, and then I want to hear what you guys think, because I know you guys are pretty hot on this song. I don't think Sound of Empty Uzis is a deal breaker for me as a lyric. I just think it's not strong enough to be the lyric.
Sure.
Every time. Like, I feel like if you like swapped out the third line with a similar sounding line and had it be like A, B, C, B, it would just be a lot stronger, because the song's not really about that image of like guns. And maybe I'm just like sensitive to that because of the times we're in. But to me, I'm like, it really just like takes me out of it for a second and makes it feel like the song's about one thing when it has really nothing to do with that. Because it is like a metaphorical Uzi. It seems like he's not like singing about like,
yeah.
I'm scared of kids with guns. Like, it's not Pumped Up Kicks. That's not this song. Or
Guns for Hands, you could say.
Guns for Hands, I I had a hot take on that of just like, you guys didn't have that one super high. And for me, that's like one of the definitive Vessel songs.
I mean, it is. That's true.
Also, is it the first, I wrote this down, is this the first meta, like I'm writing about the fan base song that they ever did?
Which one?
Guns for Hands.
Guns for Hands.
I don't know.
I feel like it might be.
I feel like it might be. I can't pin any from before that, so it might be
self-titled. There's a lot of like about a specific person, and this one is like, hey, kids come up to me at the shows and say that I'm helping them not kill themselves, and that's a lot of pressure, dude. Like that's my read of that song. It's like, holy crap, this is heavy.
Yeah.
I
Also,
really like
from what I've heard, the Sound of Empty Uzis line is, if an Uzi's empty, you'll hear the click of the firing pin,
right?
But not the bang of the bullet. So it's like a tick, 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 tick kind of thing, like a clock.
Right.
That's what I've heard from other analyses that I've seen, which is like one. So that might be a reason for the line.
Yeah.
That's so like deep, but also not deep at the same time, in the sense that it's like.
I think you just described 21 Pilots.
Have you seen the video that's like, bro, 21 Pilots is so deep. It's like 21 Pilots lyrics. I am a megalodon. Ocean's feeling like
I will say, I do think the first time I heard it, I had the initial like, Uzis, whatever. But also, that's a sentence that he's just said better before. And it's death inspires me like a dog inspires a rabbit.
Sure.
Like, I feel like you're saying the same thing that you said 5 albums ago, but it's like way less poetic. Because like the rabbit line, I do think feels really deep in comparison.
That line feels like an I'm 14 and this is deep type line.
Okay, it's fair. I don't know. Moves me and Uzis. I feel like it's hard for me to not be skeptical and be like, you found a rhyme and you just went with it and then didn't give it much thought after that.
I don't think I have too many strong opinions on Raw Fear. A lot of it is the production. I just vibe so much with the music of this song.
The speed up,
the speed up
is so sick. Yeah,
and
of course.
Slow back down.
Yeah. I would say the other thought, production wise, is it's maybe one of the less, other than the speed up and slow down. Let me clarify. I love the speed up, slow down, and I think that's super original. But the main sections of the song, for some reason, make me feel like I'm listening to like Glass Animals. And something about that just rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, you're better than this. This just feels like 2018 indie pop to me for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And in Raw Fear, I think gives us that first taste of the faith aspect, with the learning all that really matters is a slow and painful lesson. It is not past.
Can we agree that that's the strongest part of the song?
Yeah,
is the bridge?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The bridge that's where the money's at.
Dude.
As our friend Aiden Rizzo would say.
Okay, can I just say, I did not know what that meant forever.
What do you mean? It's pretty self-explanatory.
I know that. I did not clock it until Rob moved to town and I asked him. I said, Rob, what does this mean? He said, where the money's at. And I'm like, I'm stupid.
Oh, you're talking about the group chat being called WTMA?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't clock that for the longest time.
We started.
You were talking about the bridges where the money's at, and I'm like, that's a pretty that's just a statement. There's no deep meaning.
Oh no, sorry, that's
We started a group chat with a bunch of students from his semester over the summer called WTMA, where we send things where we feel like this is where the money's at.
Yeah.
But we did not explain that. We just started a chat called Whitma and started sending things in it.
Okay, we're on song 2, by the way.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else on Raw Fear?
Not really. I mean, the screams at the front are his daughter's. He just had his phone on record in his pocket, and just
It's
walked
true.
up and said, "Hey, girls, scream as loud as you can," and they did. And I think that's pretty fun.
That is fun. If it was a movie, they'd get their SAG card for that, but it's music, so you don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just a sample.
That's right. and you'll probably be sampled on like Caleb's record in 5 years or something.
We'll see. Drum
Maybe.
show.
Drum show. I love drum show.
Drum show's fire. Drum show's so good.
I'm not super hot on drum show. Not saying I don't like it.
You're crazy.
I'm not. Okay, it feels like just a Clancy rollout was overcompensate, and then next semester it felt like we were trying to do the same exact kind of album rollout with drum show that we had with next semester. Like it was like
I totally disagree, my dude.
Here's the gritty bass song with loud drums, and it kind of feels like take. Almost to a certain extent a little.
Here's my hot take. Song. I agree that they are similar. I prefer drum show over next semester.
I don't.
I also
the next semester rollout was like a pivotal experience for me in the Clancy rollout, but
I think drum show's just got such good moments.
I mean, it has one of the best screams in any 21 Pilots song ever. I'll give it that.
It's got a scream. It's got a good enough breakdown for this genre. Like obviously, like if you were to put it against like a metalcore thing, it's not that heavy. But like in the context of what 21 Pilots does, that's such a heavy breakdown. I think the concept. I mean, I'm biased. I am that guy. I'm the drumming on the steering wheel guy who's trying to not think about his thought. You know, it's Josh Car Radio. And I think it's hard to like not love a song that's just Josh Car Radio.
Yeah, I think for me it was like that was the first song that was like it's cool to see this outside the narrative.
Yeah,
even though let's be honest, I feel like most of Clancy was also outside the narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. Like I still like. I'm not going to skip it. I just it's not my strongest pick. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, like, I almost didn't clock it as like similar to next semester because it ticks up. Like, yeah, it's a hard drum and bass song, but it like ticks up the hardness of the bass has so much more impact than it does in next semester. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like the star of the show in next semester to me is like the crazy baritone ukulele that like kind of sounds like a guitar, and then you listen a little closer, you're like, that's not a guitar. Whereas this one, it is like all about the bass and the drums, obviously.
No treble.
Yeah.
No treble. I don't know.
I almost don't care about the scream. I feel like people make like a huge deal about the scream.
Yeah, you could leave. Goodbye.
Like it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's all that people focus on. It's either that or Josh singing, which is also cool. Right. But it's like
it's the best part of the song.
I feel like it's extremely reductive of the song to just be like, oh, it's a song with the scream, or oh, it's the song that Josh sings. Like,
right.
I feel like it's good on its own merits besides those two parts of it.
I think what's more significant is like this is truly. I mean, we've had other songs where like you're like he's probably kind of talking about Josh here, but like on an album that we seem to be in agreement on is very like I'm going deep on what's actually going on with me. I think it's cool that he seemed to go out of his way, and they talked about this song was a different song lyrically before, and Josh was like, I don't think that's the one, and then Tyler got inspired and wrote this, and he was like, it's kind of about you, dude. I think that's so cool, and kind of like at this point, this many albums deep, I just really appreciate it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. He like wrote a theme song for Homie. That isn't just like he's cool and plays drums. It's like, hey, you escape into your world with that, and that's like kind of similar to how I escape with what I do with what making the songs and stuff. So I just appreciate it, in that regard as well. Or maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
All right, garbage, I guess. Unless Caleb is cut out trying to talk.
No, I'm here. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Drum Show. Garbage. It had to grow on me a lot. I was in love with it the first time I heard it.
I was immediately in on garbage, dude.
But the more I listened to it, the more it is like quickly climbed the ranks for me.
Dude, the first time I heard garbage.
All I heard is the first time I heard
the first time I heard garbage, I was immediately sold.
Yeah. I do want to immediately point out that the bridge is one of like the strongest theological things on this whole record.
Interesting.
It says, would you move closer if I grew quieter? Maybe this is you. Maybe you don't fix and you like it like this. Just this whole idea of, when we're well off, we don't go to the Lord. We don't. We're creatures who are self-centered in almost every aspect. And this, I feel like, really taps into, if I were quieter and stopped being so noisy, would I be able to find my way back easier to my faith? And that combined with backing up a little bit to verse 2 is like, I can't decide if I could feel more or I just knew less when I was younger. Is like, also now he's contrasting this with the music he used to write, who he was when he was younger, feeling like his faith was so much stronger than. So yeah, that's one of the big highlights of this album theologically for me.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of the. I hadn't thought of the growing quieter being. Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't heard it that way, where it's like when you're doing well, because in my head, like the whole song is like I'm not doing well, so I hadn't really considered like, oh, like maybe I'm being too loud in how I'm living, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it kind of like it kind of in vibes feels like that concept feels kind of like the opposite of trees to me, where it's like trees to me feels very much like Tyler's yelling and like God's, silent in the trees.
Right.
And so this is kind of the opposite of that. Like, if I shut up, will you like get closer?
Right.
Pretty much.
And it there's a really interesting parallel here to a line in Fake You Out, which is I'll have to remember what it is. I'm having trouble right now. But it's a line that essentially says I am quiet now and silence gives you space, and like being afraid of that to an extent.
No, I see that. I thought it was interesting, like maybe you don't fix and you like it like this. The first time I heard that, I was like, shoot, yeah, I've been there in terms of like when you're wrestling with just even the theology of like how God operates, and like especially like this song kind of talks about like when you're in a painful season, struggling with the thought of like, so wait, let me get this straight. All-knowing, created all of these things and wants me to surrender, and so therefore I have to suffer. Like there's that kind of backwards theology loop that you can get into where you're like, oh, it's like a masochistic game for God somehow. Like he needs me to like suffer so that I'm desperate enough. Like that's messed up. And really that's just like bad theology that is easy to fall into when you're going through suffering. So when that line, when I heard that the first time, I was like, oh yeah, been there. Definitely been at that moment where you're like, so what? I'm supposed to like surrender now because you're like making me suffer if I don't, when really that's like just a total misread of the reality of like sin, brokenness in the world. But yeah, super like poignant moment. And then obviously, I mean, it crescendos into the "Don't Give Up on Me," which feels like simultaneously like it's just like a classic like cry to God thing, but also musically like it takes me to like for some reason like mid 2000s like Keen or something, like Somewhere Only We Know, like one of those like kind of anthemic Kings of Leon, like that sort of like whatever. Don't give up on me. I'm like, this feels great.
The Contract.
Wait, one more thing on Garbage.
Okay.
First verse, so cool in that it's not clear that the song has started.
Yeah.
Like it kind of sounds like the chorus is starting and then it's just going. And then we fall into the I'm biting down on my shirt sleeve, and that's the only time that you've clocked like, oh, that was the verse.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like kind of a deceivingly well crafted song. Okay, Contract.
When this single dropped, I kind of lost my mind.
Same.
I was super.
We texted that night, right?
Yeah, we did. And this is like just one of the most visually stunning music videos I've ever seen in my 100%. It's so good.
I've brought it up to like no less than 15 people this summer of just like, this is, I don't know if you like 21 Pilots, but this video is the craziest thing I've ever watched.
Yeah.
It also falls into like this cool production category for me where like an artist that's typically not doing the crazy auto-tune thing does a song that's intentionally like, I'm using it to get this specific aesthetic out of it. And I think it does it really well.
Just put that out there. Elijah hates the song.
I don't hate this song. I don't hate. I never said I hate this song. I said it's not my favorite on the album.
Elisha, would you change your mind if you saw like an 80-year-old woman do an acoustic cover of it?
I mean, I might. I mean, I already.
Oh no, I lost it.
I feel like I don't have much to say about this song from a besides a lore perspective. Like I feel like besides, like I guess to a certain extent, it could be like, is it safe to go back outside yet? Is like I feel like the general vibe of the song.
Have you considered the angle of the contract being literally a metaphor for the contract of like signing to a record deal and being like in the music industry?
Oh, I hadn't for some reason. All right.
There's some interesting subtext if you read into it that way. Cause like he talks a lot about, even in Downstairs, I mean, he's talking about like, clearly like there was a period of his life where this whole thing was a dream and it was like in his basement and it was like, this is the way that I can get out what I'm feeling and like all these spiritual thoughts I'm having. He's got his whole story where he was like playing basketball and then he got injured and music became the thing that he like got obsessed with. And I think he's like pretty on record for like not sleeping a lot at that time even. And like, it's always been this obsessive thing. And I think if you're thinking about this meta narrative we've established is like maybe is being hinted at in City Walls, where it's like, I went into this music thing with like this greater purpose in mind. And like, I've failed and like fallen away from what I originally wanted for this and blah, blah, blah. If you look at it through that lens, I think there is a lot there of like calling back to, oh, I'm like cursed by this drive to like create this music, and then I like sold my soul a little bit. Like
let's just go straight to Downstairs actually, because I feel like there's just so much to say about this song, especially the line, "I want to be the one after your own heart," is such a like scriptural line. Like that's ripped from text in the Bible.
Sure,
is the idea of being the one after God's own heart. David was a man after God's own heart. Noah was a man after God's own heart. Like is that mantra is recurring And so it's such a, like that immediately, like I clocked that so quick. I was like, wow, that
Oh, for
like
sure.
is to me is very powerful because it's like so scriptural.
Yeah.
And
I
if
think it is on its own potentially vague enough that it could be like the language is from scripture, but the meaning is more obtuse. But I think combined with some of the other lines in this song, it is hard to not be like, okay, that's the lens he's kind of like composing this under.
Yeah. And so I think in the context of the whole album,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that this you could consider this almost like the turning point?
I hadn't thought of it as necessarily a turning point in terms of like a change from like before this song to after this song, but I do think it does feel like a centerpiece to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe there is it's similar to City Walls. Maybe this is another kind of tent pole. Like if you're breaking the album's themes down to a few songs, it's like City Walls, Downstairs, Tally, Intentions, maybe Center Mass, maybe. And if you're just going to pick, this is definitely, I think, an important song to the core of the record.
The key change, just want to say it's so good. I love it. I love the key change.
I forget it's coming almost every time, which is crazy.
I forget that it even happened.
What happened? Oh, the key change.
The thing we were literally just talking about.
Yeah.
It is interesting too, because I definitely did see the Korea vlog back in the day that this track was like the demo of it was out there instrumentally and did not clock it fully. I was definitely like most people, like this feels very old school 21 Pilots when that first chorus dropped. And then like watching everyone react to it and then going back and listening to the Korea demo, it was like, oh, I forgot. I have heard this. I've heard this music before. It's crazy. Which is, I think, again, we talked, this may have been when you were disconnected, Caleb, but I was talking about how, like, to Elisha, it's fun as an artist when you can kind of salvage, like, multiple kind of meta meanings for things where you're like, oh, I'm pleasing the fans here, but I'm also, like, saying this other thing that I want to say. When you can, like, make those things match up and have it work artistically, that's really exciting. And I think it's cool that this is like an old song musically and like maybe is pulling some imagery from that same era where he's like talking about being downstairs and like sheltering away and like making his music and kind of running from God and running from life and stuff. I think the fact that this music is literally from that time and he's kind of using imagery from that time is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think the last line means?
Of
the song? Because he goes back to I want to be the one after your own heart.
Yeah.
And I might doubt the process like I doubt the start.
I mean, I think it's just, acknowledging that he's prone to doubts, but still wanting that so badly.
I just haven't figured out what the start of what, like the start of the process.
Yeah, probably. It's like I feel like it's a way of saying, like, give me mercy, but please be patient with me because I'm so prone to doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which that's funny too, to think about. Like, I don't love getting into the arguments on this type of thing, but on Reddit, there were, did you see there was like a couple threads where people were less enthused about this song because it seemed so spiritual?
I didn't see those. No, I'm not on Reddit too much, but
there were some people on there kind of pushing back of like, well, if you're really like messed up about that, I don't know how you were into some of the earlier stuff.
Right.
It is just funny to think about, like, I can't even imagine interpreting Doubt, the song Doubt,
No, yeah.
as about like a person.
Or,
like
or trees, for that
it's
matter.
so clearly about God. Like, I don't even know how else you read that song.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like, I guess this is written by a simp. Like, this guy's simping so hard.
That takes me back again to what I was saying earlier, where it's like Tyler Joseph has always been such an intentional writer.
Yeah.
And everything he does is so intentional. And for him to put that line in the song and say that he didn't mean it to mean what it very clearly means is almost disrespectful to him as a songwriter.
Well, and I also wonder, this is, I won't go too long on this because I feel like this is actually extremely speculative, but there's a part of me that wonders, you know, I talked earlier about there's some things lyrically on Blurry Face that are a little like, they don't feel as intentional. They feel like it's just things that you say as a young person, and then later you're like, it's not the most tactful thing to say in public. I think that combined with some of the drama that happened in like 2019, 2020. Have you told Elisha the lore of the platforms tweet?
No, to be honest, I forgot about that until this exact moment.
I honestly feel like that may have been a turning point in terms of like, I wonder if he felt like he kind of blew his shot of like being as open about his beliefs, because that was such a like misunderstood situation and like caused a lot of drama, and there was a lot of talk that kind of took him off of people's like pedestal. But prior to that, I think he was on a path to like really being a credible witness to a lot of people. And I wonder how much of his spirit was kind of discouraged by that time. And then we were plunged like right into COVID, and obviously things got really messy everywhere for everyone. But to catch you up, Elisha, basically he made a tweet around the time of the George Floyd protests, just making a joke about using his platform, and it was a picture of him wearing platform shoes. And a certain segment of the fan base like really got on him about it in a way that was like kind of semi like
death threats.
He got death threats, and like
that's absurd.
People were calling for him to get canceled and stuff. And it was all kind of within the 21 Pilots verse. It didn't go like huge because obviously not a celebrity on that level, but it was like a really dramatic moment for them, and they kind of went quiet for a second after that.
And then he apologized on a Fortnite Christmas stream.
Yeah. And he apologized and stuff, and like it's so clearly like just a classic, like he said something kind of stupid and people like realized he wasn't a god, which like duh. But I sometimes wonder, like with stuff like this and these, like I wonder how much of a trajectory that set him on to like be more quiet, because I feel like that's a big theme of this song and a lot of the record is like him finally being fed up with like, maybe I've been hiding under a bushel, for lack of a better term. Yeah. And like I want to be back like on mission of like sharing what I think, and especially if he has kind of like reconstructed his beliefs closer to what they were when he was younger. That just feels like that's like top of mind for him in this song.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like, I mean, something as obvious as like, you can have both my lungs if you ask me so. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big ask.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That doesn't strike me as something that you put on your, what is this, 6th, 7th record?
6th, I think. Yeah.
You don't put this on your 6th record if you're like fully deconstructed and kind of out on the whole faith thing.
Yeah.
You don't put you can have both my lungs if you ask me to on your record at that point.
Robot voices.
This is my least favorite.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for tuning in to Subtractive IQ.
I mean, okay. Here's what I'm gonna say about robot voices. I think I prefer the original.
Yeah, you're
over
both.
this one.
Good night. Good night. We're gone.
See ya.
That's it.
Peace.
I mean, how long we've been recording? 2 hours? Yikes.
You said robot voice
Yikes.
was your least favorite. I want you to know how upset you made my wife. You should apologize.
I'm sorry that you're upset. Did I do it right?
Tyler's sweet.
That was kind of the initial reaction. That's bad.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I don't feel like this has a ton of subtext for me in what we've been talking about this
I don't
song
either, because it is a collaboration.
Yeah, and it's like it kind of if I'm being like pessimistic, it kind of feels like he did what I do sometimes and like heard a song on Spotify and was like, I know how I would fix that. And then reached out and was like, can I steal your song and fix it? And then he did that. It's sort of how it reads to me. Which, like, to be fair, I'm that guy. I would probably do that too. I don't find it a particularly like compelling song. And I don't know, even the original, like he took the bridge and made it the chorus, but then like the rest of their song is not conceptually anywhere near what this song is. So it just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't feel super personal to Tyler to me.
Sure.
It's a cool, like if it was just a one-off thing, I'd be like, that was cool. But like on the album, it just kind of feels out of place and takes me out of all the other things I'm thinking about when I'm listening to the rest of it.
Sure.
So I don't think it's a bad song. It's just in the context of the album, it's kind of a skip for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go straight to Center Mass out of Downstairs if I'm listening through.
Dude, speaking of Center Mass.
Hey, if we want to move straight to Center Mass, I'm perfectly happy.
That's where let's do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. There's not much to say about robot voices.
And it's also, I will just say one more thing. It's not the most musically like crazy song either. Like, which makes sense because it's adapted from another much less experienced band's song. Granted, this version's a lot more dressed up, but I just think he's way more creative on the other 12 songs.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading through the Center Mass lyrics.
I thought you were just like stewing in hatred for me.
No, I moved on.
Robot voice. Okay, good.
I do say I do love the little clips at the beginning of Center Mass with the moments from Clancy Tour. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I know one is the drum being stolen. Yeah. And then there's a Josh Dunn in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little
Caleb, have
dude.
you told about your dream on the podcast that you had the other day?
I don't know if I did.
I don't think so. I think we were just in Discord.
All right, here's a little tangent. I had this dream. And I was with everyone I knew, or like a lot of people that I knew everyone who was there. And we were in like this refugee bunker. And I don't know why we were on the run or what from. The government was hunting us down for some reason. I don't know why. But we're in this bunker, and on one side...
Have you read the book of Revelation?
on one side of this bunker is a wall that is completely like it's almost like the wall is ground level and the whole wall is a window, but the window is tainted like really darkly, so if you're outside you can't see in. And the floor is kind of dug out, so it's almost like you can, if you're standing in this little trench thing, you can set your elbows on ground level and this trench is just lined with these crates of like firearms, grenades, like ammo, med packs, all
You said
sorts of stuff
everyone
like
you
that.
know's there?
Just I just remember being there and being like, oh yeah, these are my people. So maybe you were there. I don't know.
I just was curious if I had like an Uzi or something.
It was empty though.
It was empty.
Life is just forever nipping heels or
Right, shut up.
gripping feels. What we didn't talk about that gripping feels. I didn't even know that was the lyric till I just read it.
Yeah. But
That's
we're
weird.
in this bunker and I hear like the sound barrier break. And I'm like, shoot. And I look out the other end of the bunker and I look up into the sky and I see this plane like zoom over top and there's like 100 soldiers parachuting in on top of this bunker. Yeah, basically intending to shoot on sight is what I felt and understood in the moment. So I'm like, shoot, I got to get ready to defend my people. So I run over to these crates and I'm like, I have no idea what to take. Like, I don't know which of these guns is good, like which is bad. Like as in terms of like what is gonna work for me. I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And then have you ever do you know who John Bertel is?
Yeah.
John Bertel,
Punisher.
yeah, the Punisher walks up to me and he's like, "You're gonna take this one, and you're gonna take this sidearm." And he like hands me this rifle and he hands me this sidearm. And I
I
remember,
changed my mind. He's Shane from The Walking Dead.
and I really
what I
distinctly
want to
remember
vision.
I own in real life this really like elastic pair of sweatpants, and I'm wearing these sweatpants, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna like the gun.
Be honest, am I in my slides?
I don't know, bro. I don't even know if you were there, but this sidearm kept falling out of my sweatpants because I was trying to like keep it because I didn't have like a holster or anything, and so I kept having to like put. Dude, that's the detail I remember. But then he's like, then the shooting starts. The soldiers land, and they can't see where we are, behind the tainted glass, and so it's just a complete war zone for like an hour. At one point, I almost died. I get shoved onto the ground and this soldier's about to shoot me. But then I like look up and see like a bullet go through the other side of his head because the Punisher killed him and like just stopped, like narrowly saves my life. And it was, but the reason Elisha brought this up is because the whole time I was like, I think I tried shooting for people in the head and Punisher was like, that's stupid. Aim for center mass. And so I was like, I then in the dream started humming center mass to myself to remind myself not to try to get headshots.
I'm not sure that was the intention of the song.
But that is the reason Elisha brought it up.
Oh my goodness. It was so funny.
I'm just in the gym like, they call it center. That's what they do.
All right, so let's talk about the music.
Yeah, center mass.
I think my favorite thing about this song is that Tyler completely called it at the listening parties, and it was like, what is this song the first time? And then like second time I was like, I kind of like it, and now I love it.
Yeah, I
He
love
like
the song
led with
the
that.
instant that I heard it.
It took me a little bit, which I appreciated that he knew that would be the case for a lot of people. There's a few lines in here that are very interesting, particularly verse 2, which seems to be
Is
like,
that about him being introduced?
it's something.
Are we on the same wavelength here? I mean, I feel like that's gotta be
yeah,
what
I think
about.
it's got to be like probably porn, if not.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was
guess
thinking.
maybe like cigarettes or something, but like, again, don't want to get super speculative, but I think I have been long a contender that you can't write a song like Vignette without being either very close or self involved in some sort of actual addiction.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like speculate, but I'm like, there's other lyrics from previous stuff that I think once I heard Vignette gave me permission to be like, oh, maybe he's actually had some pretty serious like struggles, at least close to him, if not with him. Yeah. And I know that there's probably a portion of the fan base that would be like, he would never smoke a cigarette or like try weed or whatever. But I don't know. There's some things that he's written where I'm like,
yeah,
dude's seen some stuff.
The reason this automatically goes to like porn in my head is because I constantly hear these stories of people who overcome pornography addiction talking about how they were shown it at school.
Yeah.
And so that seems like a very kind of line that's like, you know, right this way, if you're frustrated, your first mate in the 5th grade tried to persuade, try it once, he was shown on the bus. It's like, that is literally the story that I hear all like just consistently.
Yeah. 5th grade shown on the bus. I feel like it's hard to not see it as that or something. So again, like maybe cigarette, but you wouldn't show it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like showing someone something in 5th grade that would then tie into a seemingly long-term struggle. I'm like, yeah, probably. And that is an interesting thing because it's like, if that's a personal story, again, can't assume any of it is like, you know, he could be telling a story of someone he loves or someone he knows or whatever. But it gives a lot of subtext to things because like part of what's beautiful about the kind of art that Tyler makes is that it can be specific and non-specific at the same time, and that makes it like relatable to people and they can kind of read their own struggle into it. But it's also a little bit of like a protective mechanism. So you like, cause it's hard to expose anything that you aren't proud of from your past or from your life in your art. That's like a vulnerable thing to do, obviously. And he's no stranger to being vulnerable in this music, but it makes sense that like, if he's got some really serious long-term struggles or like, you know, he is addicted to porn or he was addicted to porn or whatever, like that's something that's like with a fan base like his who's so hanging on every word and talking about every word, that's got to be a lot of pressure to be like, well, if I were to like write a really meaningful song that was very specific and laid out my specific struggle or my specific addiction or whatever, like I am asking for there to then be pages and pages of like people discussing that out in the public square. And that's just like, you can't wish that on anyone. So like, I'd imagine that makes it even more complicated to be what he wants to be, which is like out there and like saying all these things and kind of giving the hot take from his like spiritual perspective and all this stuff. So like, it really makes me feel for him in that sense. And also just really respect how much he's been able to do with that without really being like, I'm going to give you the beat by beat testimony of what my problems have been.
Yeah. And dude, man, Center Mass is another one of those centerpieces for sure. And the idea of the pre-chorus, which is like, I feel like other people's like, we thought you had it figured out. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, yeah, I said I made it to the top. I lied. Like, I'm just trying to make myself as small as possible to avoid as much pain as possible. Because the truth is, you know, being in that spot is like saying I'm at the top. And especially from a faith perspective is, I'm trying to make myself as small as possible because none of this is what I thought I was signing myself up for.
Right.
And taking that to the breakdown is another one of the moments in the album that's like one of the most important. Starting like, so just immediately, you know, found out what I'm worth. I run to you. I hope you understand this run-on sentence sounds almost
my tattoos
like,
only hurt
when meaning fades. And then I think my skin got worse with good intentions is I think that's him saying, because obviously I don't know if you've ever seen his tattoos. They're all religious. Like they're all faith-based markings and things like that. So it's literally him saying, my skin got worse because the more good intentions that I thought I had, I was just losing the meaning of my faith. Like my skin is hurting now because I've lost the meaning of what this is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, follows that right up. I don't want to say what happened. I just want to let it go. Again, if there is like really serious like trauma in the past or past addiction or even current addiction, it is like, yeah, that this is him like kind of bearing all in this bridge and kind of hiding it deep in this weird song.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's not the hook, so you're maybe not gonna like dwell on it too much, but he wants to say all this stuff. And then I love that he sets up
Cottonwood.
He sets up Cottonwood with the funeral, which I think is just really smart.
To be honest,
he plants that seed.
Yeah, he plants this, and I think that has more. I mean, Tyler Joseph has more than one meaning, but it's nothing was the same right after I went to the funeral. I miss you so much. Take what you want. Take what you want from me. Took you for granted. That all feels like this whole bridge feels like just screaming at God, please, like take what you want from me. I miss you so much. Like bring me back. I want you back. And the funeral line not only sets up Cottonwood, but I think is actually a really deep-seated insight into Tyler's grandfather dying, and potentially that is what kicked him back into track. Like maybe the sense of struggle with the morality of his grandfather, and this funeral is something that, you know, could have almost, snapped him out of whatever trance he was in.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
And also you have kind of the other tent post of, I mean, his other grandfather dies leading up to Trench, because that's legend, is that song. And I forgot when we were talking earlier about kind of the kind of interesting path between Trench era, Psy era. He starts having kids 2020. And I feel like there's some of that too at play, where you're like, I mean, I'm in this season now. I just turned 30 last week, and like I'm the least attached of my friends. I have friends that are now having like their first kids and stuff like that, and just hearing their perspective of like how your entire like view of your own life and your own purpose and what you've done up to that point kind of shifts when you have that new like responsibility of like, oh wow, I like have a human that I'm responsible for now. And dealing with like past addictions, and like you carry that stuff into like, if you have struggles that you carry into a marriage, and then now you have a family, it's like it really starts to like force you towards kind of making a game time decision about things like, okay, where are me and God at right now? Because, a lot of us that came up in church, like it was kind of a given, and then you question it a little bit when you're kind of in your 20s and stuff. And this feels like someone who's a few years into like, it's all kind of coming into focus now, and I'm starting to like understand what I've been taking for granted. And I think this song kind of like really puts a lot of that out there in a great way.
Yeah.
Going to Cottonwood, unless Elijah, you had something to say about Center Bass.
Not really. I mean, I'm just kind of listening.
Cottonwood is one I honestly need to listen to more. It's I mean, it's pretty transparent that it's about him wrestling with the death of his grandfather. And honestly, I'm curious to see, Ben, what you think about the chorus. Like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean? I've been catching my reflection, already looking. My reflection of looking back in time through a telescope. Like how does that register for you?
There's a part of me that probably has not super processed it yet. It's one of those where you're like, I think I get it, but I can tell you conceptually that I get it. It's just like I feel it. Like it's effectively communicating something. Um, to me, it's like maybe a little bit of an existential thing, but not so much. I guess it's just like thinking about the memory of a person. Like you have like a telescope lets you zoom in on something or see something far away. So if you're looking back in time through a telescope, it's like I'm maybe starting to see the past clearer, and maybe some of that's being filtered through memories of his grandfather, and like he's like, now that you're gone, and now that I'm as old as I've been up to this point and have experienced the most I have experienced up to this point, like I look back at your life and I'm thinking about your past and like my memories with you.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing things that I didn't see before. I think that's kind of my initial read on it. And then there's also kind of an implication of like, I forget where it is. There's something where it's like, it felt like he's kind of saying like, maybe I read something where he was talking about the song, but I think I read something where he was saying that like he didn't have as much time with this grandfather later in life.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some regret there about like not making as much time, or like maybe they just weren't as close as earlier in life. Yeah. I feel like it's maybe something he said at the listening party or something that was that I got that from. But I think the most interesting part of this song for me is the verse 2. It seems like he's implying there was some sort of, whether it was like straight up suicide or physician assisted suicide or taking off of life support, something in that class. He's asking about like, you know, were you sad or brave? You weren't waiting anymore. And then the no, I don't condemn you. That like, that moment is really emotionally like powerful.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, like that's like a real thing for anyone to like kind of wrestle with. Spiritual side of that aside, because obviously like some people have really clear theology about whether that is permissible. And then there's also just like, even if you're not on that level thinking about it, it is just like a difficult thing to think about, like a suffering loved one choosing to kind of, I quote unquote give up, but like given whatever the circumstances, that doesn't necessarily, sometimes it's not the hardest choice in the moment. But interestingly enough, I think like the no, I don't condemn you implies that he would be concerned that his grandfather would think he would condemn him. So I don't know if there's like some sort of dynamic there of like he would be against it in the past, or like he thinks that I would be against it. Or is he just talking to himself of kind of wrestling with the morality of that?
Yeah.
This song's just like the vibes are so, I don't want to say good because it's not like a happy vibe, but like
they're there.
It's so effective as it communicates what it's trying to, even just in the sound of it. I listened on YouTube a few days ago to the album where people have used AI to like remove all the vocals. And this song is like equally as sad without the vocal, which is like impressive.
One Way. I feel like One Way is pretty obviously just like about Tyler not feeling like he is where he should be in the industry. Like I think it's pretty much just I was blindsided by this dream, but I kind of don't like who I've become, and I don't think I belong in this space.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I think he is a little more tactful in this song in saying similar things that he says on like Blurry Face.
Sure.
There are moments where he's talking kind of meta about who they are in what their place in the music market is. And that's another reason that like Lane Boy is not a favorite for me. Some of it's cool. I think some of it gets out of his hands a little bit and gets on the verge of being corny. I'll even throw Fairly Local under the bus. Like in hindsight, people have criticized like yo, this song will never be on the radio, and then 2 months later, stressed out, it's like the only thing on the radio. To be fair, I don't think Fairly Local had much of a shot of being a radio hit. So that song in itself was maybe true. Yeah. But all that to say, I think for me, those lyrics, those types of lyrics where he's talking about that, feel like they're coming from a place of insecurity. It's kind of the like, you can't kick me out of the party that I didn't want to go to in the first place, or whatever. Yeah. Whereas this song, I think, is a much more mature exploration of some of that concept.
Right. It's now I'm in the party, and I kind of wish I wasn't in the party.
Yeah.
Which I think is why it ties so well into Days Lie Dormant, which is the sense of being like, you know, kind of just being like needing time off, not wanting to necessarily put his career before his relationship with his wife and family anymore.
Sure. One last thing I'll say about One Way is I do think it's lower on my list. I think it's just kind of it's a mid-energy song. Yeah. So it just doesn't have as many moments. And it doesn't really have like, I feel like the last few songs we've talked about, there's been like a lyric or a like phrase that really just like is the peak of the song. And this one just kind of happens, but it all feels good. And it all, like the overall meaning of it feels great. I actually think tying it directly into Days Lie Dormant, obviously he does it with the humorous Josh voicemail, but I think it's smart because it kind of makes those two feel connected. Like you don't feel like you don't feel like you start this song that's kind of milquetoast and then it ends and then this next song starts that's kind of just like one big sweet musically.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Days Lie Dormant. I mean, I feel like I don't have much to say on this song. Elisha probably does, but
I'm not opposed to One Way going into Days Lie Dormant, but it does feel like quite a vibe change.
So true. That's good. I like the song. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about Days Lie Dormant. I just like the music. It's a fun song.
Yeah. And I think you're totally right, Caleb. I heard someone who I admittedly stole a lot of my interpretation of City Walls from. They were trying to like make every song super directly related.
I can't wait to hear your interpretation of City Walls when I listen back to the recording.
That's true. You were kind of in and out there. But this person in particular was trying to maybe over spiritualize some of the songs on this record.
Sure.
And their interpretation of this was that he is tired of being in a place, the music industry, where you, God, are not. And I was like,
I feel like it's
pretty clear. Yeah.
I mean, I want to be with my wife.
Right.
I don't want to be wherever I am touring. I just want to be with my wife.
Right. And it is funny because it's like, it's hard to like read too literally into every line, because my first thought was, to waste time in a city where no one knows your name, most of the thousands of people in that arena know Jenna. What are you talking about? And certainly a lot of them know Jesus. So who's left? Who's this mystery person that no one knows? But I think he's talking more about the city itself, not like the people at the show. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's like pretty on the nose about that. But it's a great song, great vibes.
And that takes us into another centerpiece. Absolutely.
I think
Trying Tupo Chico.
Tally. Which I just want to say, we talked at the CMC live show last Thursday, Ben, and you were like not tolerating the Tally hate that Elijah is kind of putting out there.
No, I was not. Tally is maybe the best song on this record, potentially.
Yeah, it's top 3 for sure.
To me, it's like Tally and the Contractor like right up there. So I don't know, Elisha, maybe you just don't enjoy fun or something. I
The
don't know.
music just don't hit as hard as the others.
You're wrong.
But that,
You're
I mean,
incorrect.
that chorus doesn't just like smack you.
I can't remember the chorus actually.
You're done.
That's crazy.
You're done.
Hang on.
That's
I just
nuts.
listen to songs that sound good. I don't really care too much about lyrics. You guys are diving deep into the lyrics.
I feel like verse 1
I
to
hardly
chorus
listen
of
to
Tally
lyrics.
is like maybe the best moment of this record.
I agree. It is a banger from start to finish.
You guys talk about it. I'm going to listen to the song.
All right, sounds good.
Bro,
hopefully by the time we're done talking about this song, Elisha has self-converted to a Tally stan.
When this song came out, or when the album came out, I remember talking to Miriam because we both had stayed up to listen to it, and we were both on the same page. Like, Tally hit so hard. Like, that was one of the ones that immediately like stuck out and stayed like up there for both of us.
Yeah. Yes. That totally tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I think even like the first verse is like there's so many ways that you could make that cadence sound bad, and he makes it sound great.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so, and even like I feel like he does this thing that I'm always trying to make happen when I do like vocal sessions with people, where like I just want there to be like a little bit of weirdness to how things are said,
what you're talking
just to
about.
make it
I know
like
exactly what you're talking about.
Like just to make it memorable and like kind of catchy without it having to have a note to it. And the way that he does the "I lost my ranking title, I turned my back on it."
I lost my ranking title like that.
Yeah, like he goes to this place that's like
weird, but also
so
awesome.
weird that you can like see it. You can see him doing it in your mind.
Yeah,
just listening to it. And it's just a fantastic. And like the lyrics are really tight. The rhyme schemes are awesome. Like there's just so much going on. And then it also just like it hits on a really universal.
Yeah.
And like we've been talking this whole time, when you look at it through the spiritual lens, like obviously like the idea of like tallying all the mistakes you've made, and like
you
know, there's a lot of biblical text about like God does know. He knows like every time you mess up and all that stuff. But there's this grace or whatever, and I feel like I'm like this grace or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like he puts it in such a digestible way in that chorus that I'm like, this is actually a really great illustration to someone who hasn't been introduced to the idea of like radical grace. Yeah. And it's a great reminder for those of us who do.
Verse 1 makes me really think of the story of Esau selling his birthright for soup.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the selling, selling your rank and title at a discount for sure. Like just the like, I had all the status, I had all these like gifts, I had all whatever, and I was like, yeah, just give me the payout. I just want to be comfortable for a minute. 100%.
And then also, I feel like
the prodigal son too. I mean, there's that's just like totally all over it.
Prodigal son, and it goes back to backslide in that lyric. I was a champion of, I can't remember. Champion of a world you can't see.
Yeah, and I also think, again, you missed some of my read of City Walls, but I think some of that is informed by the line, I wanted to progress things. I mean, I know it's progress, but, or I guess he says it'd be progress, but he says progress because he's rapping. Again, I feel like he's been very like, he wanted to do this music thing in a different way and like express something spiritual, but kind of like sneak it in the applesauce of like this cool music and stuff. Like, I think when I read that and then I read some of City Walls, I'm like, okay, so yes, he went into this whole thing kind of like, as you would if you're talented and gifted in the way he was and in the church culture he was in at the time. Like, of course, you're like, oh, I have this gift. This is my kind of unique way to like spread the message of Christ that I've been gifted with. And sold it all at a discount. You know, he got what he wanted, which was influence and like a platform and all these things, and then somewhere along the way, like kind of lost his spark for it.
Mm-hmm. Elisha,
Yeah.
are you smarter now?
So here's the disconnect here.
Okay.
I don't ever listen to Tally. That was my issue. Because I like Tally and I enjoy it. I really like the drums on it. But I just never get that far in the album because I like only listen to music when I'm driving pretty much. And I don't drive long enough to listen to the full album at a time, and I just restart it every time I start driving. So I'm really familiar with the front half of the album up until like I don't know, probably either Center Mass or Cottonwood.
All right, your
And
challenge is to start with those next time you go driving.
That's true.
Fair enough.
You just started Center Mass.
Yeah.
That's a vibe. I will say also to Elijah's point, the drums, I love that like the pre-chorus feels like we're back to our like Heavy Dirty Soul style like breakbeat thing. I feel like when that shows up, it's always like it feels like a callback to older 21 Pilots. So I appreciate that.
And
Verse 2 is sick too, dude. The freaking I like in our fight 2-2 lightning strikes on. Yeah, it's so good. There's such good flow throughout this whole song.
And
also, you get
Sally, the live show clip, bro. Dude, it's so tragic.
It's gotten better. I saw one from the other night that was a lot better. I think he's settled into kind of the thing that I'm always a little bummed by, but I can accept, which is this chorus is high. I'm going to mainly lean on track for the high part, and then I'm going to sing every other line. It is a bummer. I kind of wish they would just like move the key down a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Because listening to the song, belting that chorus is the money. Like that is where the money's at, quite literally. Also, we get the is this the second use of breach in the bridge, or is this the third? I know there's
move it up. It's a breach in the first one. I breached your trust. I let you die. That's Tally. There's another one.
Yeah, there's one more somewhere. But I appreciate when there's like a word that connects them all, but it's not just like from one song, it's from a few songs. It's always fun.
Intentions to close this out. Although I kind of also want to touch on Drag Path because that's just part of this album in my mind.
I mean,
I feel like I don't have much to say about Intentions.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's subtext for sure. Like, I think he's talking about the spiritual stuff, and then he's also talking about like the art talking about the spiritual stuff in a way. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's also talking about the cycle that the lore is kind of about primarily, which is this like, you gotta just like get to the point where winning is not defeating your struggle, but it's like shifting your mindset into I'm going to keep trying to get better mentality. And it does all of those things and is literally composed of a previous song in reverse.
Yeah. So sick.
Yeah.
So
which the way that the lyrics here put out like the like ooze in the background is really funny to me.
What's funny too is it does a thing. This is
in the lyric page here.
Yeah. Yeah, they wrote him out as who. It's so good.
And then the capital O at the end.
Right. So it's pretty funny. The musically, this is interesting. At least I hope Caleb finds this interesting at the very least, because it's kind of nerdy and stupid. You know how sometimes you'll like hear something in a song and then later you find out that it's not actually in there. You're just like kind of hearing things from like the frequencies.
Oh, definitely.
I was adding an extra note to the ooze on this.
Oh, really? What was it?
Because it is ooh, and then it cuts off because that's where the phrase starts.
Oh, where you going?
In truce. Yep. I was hearing the resolution, which is if you were writing this from scratch, you probably definitely would resolve it every time.
Yeah.
I was hearing that in there.
I've never heard that, but I was like, that doesn't resolve. Like just now I was like, so that's probably what he's hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. One day last week I was in the car, I was listening to it and I was like thinking about, man, it is crazy how like, you reverse it and it is this many notes. I'm like, wait, there's one extra note there. And then I thought about where it starts in truce. I was like, oh, wait, I'm adding a note. Is it even in there? And sure enough, it's not. It cuts off. But yeah, it's wild. Just, again, he's firing on like 3 conceptual cylinders. And it's composed of the song in reverse, including like, it's not every lyric, but 90% or not every sung line is an exact match of truce reverse, but it's like 90% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like is this something that someone else could do, but it does feel uniquely like, only he could pull this off. Which is just an impressive way to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
And he says a lot with a little. Like, it's not that many words.
Yeah.
But it feels like you do get a fair amount of wisdom from what's there.
Drag Path is one of my top 5 Twenty Pilot songs of all time.
You've been very vocal about how much you love Drag Path, and I'm ashamed to say I've really only heard it like twice.
I mean, that's okay, because I bought the digital remains just to hear it. For me, I was waiting for 21 Pilots to write a song like this for so long. Like, I think it was, I was always in the place of, of kind of anxiety and worry on Tyler's behalf because of his struggle with faith. And if Breach had ended, like if it had ended without this, I feel like I could have gotten to a place where it's like, okay, well, it kind of, the ending of the album Breach leaves a lot hanging in the air that I think Drag Path really resolves and like finally like almost kind of gave me that line to say, okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, that, and I think the song is just like a huge banger. Like it's so like ethereal, like it's so huge, like it feels so big. The church bells in the final hits, like coming into that last chorus, are so good.
What's like your like 2-sentence on the nose? What's this song about?
God fighting Tyler, even in the midst of all like his doubt. Like Tyler hanging on to God, even though it's so hard.
I'm seeing what you're saying too about, I hadn't really thought about like whether that thread feels resolved by the end of just Breach in general. And I hadn't really thought about it. I guess it's a little confusing too, because like you started with the album before you watched the City Walls video, is that right?
Yeah.
I did the reverse because they dropped at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was just tuned in.
You texted me, are you locked in? And I had no idea the video was coming out. I felt so stupid.
But I think that maybe tainted my first take in of it, because Intentions plays obviously as the credits roll on the video. And at that point, I have not like listened to the rest of the album. So in my head, like Intentions felt like a finale to the video. And then when it came through on the record, I wasn't really thinking about like, is this summing up this larger story of the record of being about Tyler and his faith and his relationship with God and stuff. But I see what you're saying, because it's like the last big statement is Tally, where it's just kind of like you don't give up on me necessarily. And then Intentions is just kind of more about trying and about intentions obviously. But you're right, maybe it leaves a little bit more open about like, well, so where's he land on all this? Whereas this is more of a definitive, like, I'm saying that you found me and that you stuck with me through XYZ. Okay, I see the vision.
There's also the recurring symbolism of what night is. In City Walls, the chorus is abandoned by the sun. Like, where I wonder where you are. I wanted you to show me the way around these city walls, the way on through. And so maybe even that is going back to what you were saying, is if the city walls in that aspect is the music industry, and he's going in the music industry, losing track of where God is, feeling like he's gone. And now night has fallen, abandoned by the sun, could have a meaning as in, the son of God, and also like light.
Sure.
And then coming into Drag Path, is the outro is then the sun begins to rise, like light has come back.
Yeah.
We made it through the darkest night. Like you found me again.
Yeah. I like that, because I have like every few times that I listen to City Walls, I feel like I do hear it as sun in that way.
Yeah.
Not really thinking too deeply about what that would mean, but just like, oh, that's a compelling way to hear that line. It's like abandoned by the Son of God, which is like obviously not where you would want to land in terms of like, well, he doesn't abandon you, but you can feel like potentially
you can
abandoned by the Son. Yeah, that's good. I hadn't thought about it. And that feels really intentional when you put it that way. Looking at like, oh, we're like starting this project with a sun and night metaphor word picture, and then we're ending on this like secret finale hidden thing with the same kind of picture but in reverse, where it's like, here's what I learned. Did I learn a thing? I actually did. Buy digital remains to find out what it is. I will say, like, that is something that I appreciate. I feel like they rode the line pretty well. This is way less in the text and more just like music business, but a lot has been said over the past few years with like Taylor Swift, and she'll release like 28 versions physically so that her numbers are big. And I feel like 21 Pilots has done a nice job of like, they do a little of that, in that there is a wide variety of like variants, and like the digital remains is obviously like just incentivizing like a digital download purchase by giving a little extra value and having the PDF with all the extra graphics and stuff. Like they're doing it in a way that actually provides unique extra value. Yeah. And also doesn't feel, maybe Drag Path, you could make an argument, is like maybe a little bit of an exclusivity play, but like it's not like you are holding your fans hostage to have to buy 9 versions of something in order for you to like maintain your number 1 slot that you've had for 10 records. Don't come after me, Swifties. I hope there's no violent Swifties listening to the Subtractive IQ podcast. But
only violent K-pop fans.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shout out Elizabeth Rumschlag.
Ooh, that's fine. No one cares about K-pop.
Dang. But I just appreciate they have always been consistently like being smart and forward thinking about how they present their like merch and stuff, but in a way that feels fan serviced, which is awesome. Also, that's one of my hot takes I wrote down from your last episode is you guys would be surprised what the profit margin on a CD is. It's actually pretty good.
Dude, I love CDs.
Well, and I think you can't discount I think you guys said this a little bit in talking about like vinyl and stuff, but like, just having a physical representation of a record, I think is the thing that is resonating with people. And it is certainly a lot cheaper to do the CD thing when you're small than a vinyl thing. I've done both and they're both worth doing. I think if you've got a core, enough, if you have 100 people that are into your thing, if you can get 30 of them to buy a little pricier of a limited edition vinyl, it's worth it. But CDs, you can kind of justify like these cost pennies to make and they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you can at least trick somebody who really liked your set into buying one. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Also, Migraine is S tier.
Yeah.
I'd
did we
agree
not
with
have
that.
Mike?
Yeah, it is A, which like
Really?
fair, but I think it's
I think
S.
that was because we were just so early on. We were rating a little harsher.
That's fair.
Early on, and then at the end
Islands,
we were just
got
kind of
the
like
Clancy and
everything's
Breach
an
are
S.
like
Yeah.
Behind my eyelids or eyelids of violence is like that versus like that. I mean, as a freshman in college, I was like, there's no one better. Like, what is this? That's the type of lyric that changes a man's life.
It is. And I thought we gotta wrap this up.
How long we've
Dude,
been
I
on this?
had a lot of fun with this episode. Poor Miriam has been making
half hours?
eye contact with me for like the last hour and a half.
To be fair, I think
we're going to see Twin Pilots Friday in Alabama. So hype.
Yeah. I think if you hadn't disappeared every 3 seconds for the first hour, we would have gotten back 45 of those minutes.
Probably.
Now I have to edit that all together, bro. We'll see how that goes. This is too long for a W podcast at this point, too, by the way. So it's just going to be the raw. I mean, I know how to, process audio, so it's not going to be a huge deal. But
if you want to send it my way, I can chop. I can do some chop if you want.
All right. Potentially. But yeah. Hey, thanks for listening to Subtractive IQ. We'll do a proper outro since we never did a proper intro. This has been
a proper intro.
The album analysis. I didn't hear it, so it didn't happen. And I'm here with I'm Caleb Brumschlock, who's my co-host.
Elisha Underation.
And joined by special guest
Benjamin Marriano.
This was an awesome episode. I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I'm excited to
talking for the last 30 minutes.
I'm excited to come back when you guys have a format.
Dude, we will get one. I promise. I'm actually like actively thinking about that. By the way,
maybe someone will get you a format for Christmas.
Dude, please. All I want for Christmas is a format for my podcast. Oh, dude, it's so good. I mean, we have like light format stuff between like the question we always ask, which is, when is the last time you peed your pants?
Oh yeah, when is the last time you peed your pants?
Gosh. I want to say like maybe on a hike. I don't know, 6 years ago.
Dude, hikes are brutal, man.
Hikes are brutal.
You gotta listen to the most recent episode. Or wait, was it two?
It would be 2 episodes ago.
Episode 21 or 22? I don't remember. The one that
I'm not listening to 3 episodes to figure out which episode it was.
The one Elisha's brother was on. He has one of the most hilarious hiking poop stories I've ever heard.
Episode 21.
Do poop stories count?
Yeah, you could do a poop story.
I don't want to share my poop story.
CJ didn't have a pee story, so he was like, "But I do have a poop story," and we were like, "Go for it."
Right.
And it was like a 10-minute long story, and it was hilarious.
It was hilarious. But we're out of time. You're getting grandfathered into the clock because I have to
gosh.
go.
Oh, thank the good Lord.
But we're gonna do a special bonus episode. That is just going to be Ben's poop story.
Okay.
And I am going to
let me write my will and testament before then.
I'm gonna dramatize it. I'll do ambient sounds. I'll do Foley and sound effects. That'll be.
Oh, come on. You didn't give me that high pitched of a.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's back.
Okay, I'll take it. Okay, this is random, but the contract has Paul Meany's name spelled wrong on the credits. That's crazy.
Uh-oh. It's like all the songs from Vessel
credits are like freaking Wikipedia, bro. Anyone can edit that stuff.
When you click it, it's correct though. That's weird.
Huh.
Maybe my Spotify's glitching out. What were you saying about Vessel?
Weird.
I was saying that's it for tonight.
On
See you later.